Task management is a critical component of being successful in a performance plan and showing results throughout the year. I guarantee you that if you follow some of these steps, or at least use these as ideas to create your own strategy to move forward, you're not going to be frazzled at the end of the year like this man is here on the screen, but you'll have the process down. And we're going to just give you an example of a process. So the first thing you have to do is understand what you're going to be judged on, what your performance is based on, and then begin to map it out. Now, I personally, as illustrated here on the screen, like to use mind maps. And what I'm using here is iMindMap, which gives me the ability to export everything from this mind map straight into Google Tasks. Actually, it goes into Drop Task, and then from Drop Task, I can drop it down into Google Tasks. But whatever works for you, draw it out, map it out, see what you need to do. See, notice here that I need to be better on analytics, so I'm going to study these things, right? Gain knowledge, build a library, build videos, things of that nature. So that's step one, is to understand what your plan is and then map it out. And then you're going to have to map that directly into a task management program of some sort. So let's go ahead and find one of those. So here's an example of a task management program. Now this program happens to be G-Tasks, which I really do enjoy. And you can see here, AP indicates annual performance. So I'm going to learn more about these things. For example, latency. I'm going to collect data. I'm going to read some data about it, and I'm going to build a video from it and write white papers and things of that nature. That's what solidifies that knowledge for me and allows me to share it with others as well. But you can see here there's a wide array of things that I have directly related to my performance, which are also goals for me, but I want to make sure that I have those all in a plan so that I'm not just thinking about them. I've written them down, and I've got a plan that I'm going to move forward. So let's look a little bit at that plan. To do that, I create a bogus user account, and this happens to be a bogus user account here that I just called Jeff Lush Work at MSN.com. Now I actually have two of these, one at MSN.com and one at gmail.com, that I use for mapping exercises and just kind of bogus activities so that I can see what I'm doing. And so this allows me, here represented in the green, are just the tasks themselves that I have for my annual performance and things that I want to improve upon. And so I'm able to prioritize this list here of what's most important to me right now in January, for example, and what is going to be less important to me in, let's just flip down, as you can see here. The blue, by the way, is my work calendar, so planned events. So I want to make sure I'm planning around that. And I have my personal calendar usually up as well. So I can do all that in Outlook or in many of the programs today. Here, and less important things like erasure coding, for example, or PowerShell, it's not as important to me. And so I'm going to schedule those things a little bit further out. Not that everything on here is less important to me, but there's a priority, right? You're trying to schedule all of this stuff, right, that's making you a better employee and a better person, more informed. You got to map it out somewhere. And this is, so I assign everything. Now, will this change? It will change. I'm going to have to change this, right? I'm not going to meet all my goals. But notice here I've tried to spread it out a little bit so that I'm not overburdening myself with these extra research things, which aren't everything about my performance plan, right? I need to show profitable growth. I need to expand our business, things of that nature. Those are real things that I have to do as well, but these are additional things that I do. And so that's kind of how you map it out. So we've gone through kind of taking it from a map here, understanding what it is, pumping that into some sort of task manager that you have, doesn't matter what that is, and then taking and producing that out into some sort of calendar so you know exactly what's going on. So the final step here, trying to keep this around 5 minutes, is exporting. What's really nice is you can take, and this is the URL here. Oh, I don't have it. You can't really see it on the screen. Hold on one sec here. But you can take, let me dump that URL there for you. tasks.backup.apps.com. Now, one thing that you got to make sure of is put your tasks in Google. Let Google handle your tasks. Even if you have tasks that you're running through Outlook, G Sync is a great application, but Google Tasks as an engine is wonderful because lots of people are developing apps like this, for example, that allow you to take your tasks and export them out into a spreadsheet. And so that you can see a history of your completed tasks and your open tasks. But when it comes to performance time, if you're on any form of a metric where it's saying, well, what have you done in quarter one? Now I can look down through here and it's all done by date. I've completed these things. These are the things that I've done. And I can show this and do more things with this type of data. So I know that's been a lot to go through, but this is kind of the basics on how to stay ahead of your performance plan and make sure that all of that performance is mapped out carefully and you are actually executing to what your employer would like to see.